What's up, guys? I'm Ashley Jenkins, and today Activision has announced they've sold $1 billion worth of Call of Duty Ghosts to retailers. Now, before you start drawing comparisons and thinking they've broken GTA 5's recently set record of $800 million in 24 hours, there's a catch. A couple of catches, actually. First, there's a big difference between sell-in and sell-through. Sell-in is the amount that goes from distributors into retailers. Sell-through is the amount that goes from retailers into the hands of consumers. In this case, Activision has sold $1 billion worth to retailers, but that doesn't necessarily mean all those copies have been purchased by consumers. GTA 5's $800 million was specifically sell-through, meaning gamers spent that amount of money on copies of the game in that period of time. There's a strong chance that this number also includes next-gen versions of the game that aren't available for purchase by consumers yet, but may have been shipped to retailers in preparation for those next-gen console launches. So it's still a lot of copies in the hands of retailers, but doesn't necessarily mean that GTA's record has been broken yet. Moving on, Sony has announced today that they've shipped 80 million PS3s worldwide since November 2006, bringing them back up against Xbox 360, which announced it passed 80 million last month. There are more than 4,300 titles available on the PS3, and if you're worried it's going to get lost in all the focus on PS4 over the holiday, don't. They've also announced that 300 new titles, mostly digital, will be available in time for the holidays. But there's a bit of work they have to do to get ready for PS4's launch, and that includes some maintenance on the PlayStation Network. A 7-hour maintenance, actually. Tomorrow. It won't take down any of your online servers, but you may not be able to access the store, PlayStation Home, or your account management tools during the maintenance. It'll begin at 8 a.m. Pacific and continue until 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Moving on to Xbox news, they may also have some server maintenance issues with Xbox One's cloud in the future. Specifically, you may find that their multiplayer servers experience occasional reboots to install updates, which should sound pretty familiar to MMO veterans. Microsoft's John Bruno expands, once in a while, rather frequently actually, the host OS will require an update, meaning the physical machine is going to get rebooted. There's been some initial confusion over this news, with some believing it to indicate that our games would reboot without warning while we're in the middle of a play session. Don't worry, that isn't the case. This applies specifically to cloud servers and will happen only occasionally. On a brighter note, if you've been an Xbox loyalist for years, you could be seeing a big thank you from Microsoft in the form of an Xbox One or a next-gen game. Gamers have begun reporting emails notifying them that they've been gifted a copy of Killer Instinct for Xbox One, or, in extra special cases, an Xbox One console with a copy of Forza 5. Microsoft has confirmed this is happening, saying, "We are sending a variety of Xbox gifts to some of our fans in celebration of the launch of Xbox One. We considered a variety of things, including gamer score and Xbox Live tenure, as well as other factors in markets where Xbox One is available." If you're one of the lucky recipients, let us know what you got. And finally, Civ veteran lead designer Soren Johnson has launched his own studio, Mohawk Games, and announced a new RTS project codenamed Mars. He hopes to take this RTS in a new direction by making it more heavily weighted towards economy over military, saying it uses a tycoon game mechanic. The goal is to buy out your competition. There are 13 resources available in the game, and players will determine which of these they'll focus on most. This will impact a shifting economy, and your choices may depend on your racial faction. These factions will be more Age of Empires and StarCraft, having a lot more commonalities instead of being entirely asymmetrical, but they will have their differences. The core thing about these different factions is that they'll need one or more resources more than the other. The mix of factions that go into the game will highly impact how the market changes and how the game feels, Johnson explains. The game has no release date yet, but it sounds promising and it's got a solid team behind it, so we'll keep you posted on its progress. And that's the news today. What do you think of Activision's sales announcement? Is it a number to celebrate or a sneaky way to try to one-up GTA's launch announcements? Let us know what you think of today's news in the comments below. Then make sure you check out roosterteeth.com and find out how we feel about all these developments on our gaming podcast, The Patch.